I would definitely like to go there at some point. It's just, getting anywhere from Australia is expensive.
Yeah, expensive, and I've been to
Time
Australia once
consuming.
in my life. Yes, and that's never again.
20 the
It's
shortest one is a 24-hour flight.
oh, yeah, but that's not with layovers.
Um I don't even know.
Yeah, I
I
was
just
gonna
looked it
say
up. Two
no,
stops?
no. How many?
Two stops by the looks of it.
Three? Whoo! Yeah, you're looking at like a good 35-hour adventure.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, well, then I assume you've never been to the States.
No, no, I haven't, sadly. I would definitely like to at some point. There are a lot of
That's
people I
cool.
know over there, and there's a lot of things I would like to do, but not yet.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
It'll have to happen eventually, but I haven't actually left like Australia before. I kind of want to do like a shorter flight outside the country before we do that. Like
Oh,
maybe I
there
can
you
do
go.
like New Zealand first.
Yeah, I was gonna start lighter. Yeah, that would suck. The first flight you're on is
Well,
like
I've done like
17
local
hours.
flights, right? Like I've gone to Queensland, I've
Right,
gone
right, right,
to
right.
Melbourne, things like that, but like I've not
Yeah,
gone outside of the country.
that's what I meant. Overseas, like,
Right, right.
first flight overseas is like 17 hours. That would be a nightmare. That's a nightmare. Oh,
Yeah, but also it's just expensive as well, which is the other problem.
yeah. Yeah, it's
But
really bad.
it is what it is. This is what I get for living on some island country in the middle of the ocean.
It's a beautiful country, though. I'll give you that.
Have you seen the
It,
have you ever seen the chart of like the Australian population, like where the population lives?
oh, yeah, on the East Coast. I mean, it's like everything's on the East Coast. And I'm probably between like two or three cities: Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane.
There's a heat map that is actually like really cool.
Okay.
I'll show you this one. Where's Discord? There it is.
Yeah, I also saw that picture of Carl.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's definitely changed. Oh, okay.
So the entire middle of the country is just like entirely empty except for a couple of like little red dots you can see in there. Those for the most part are like
Wow.
mining towns, but people just don't live in a lot of the country.
Yeah, no, I always knew. What in the world? Why is there little like red dots right in the middle? Isn't that like a desert?
Yeah, so those are just random mining towns.
Oh, those are the mining towns. Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got you,
yeah.
got you. Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
there's a lot of like mining towns like closer to the coast as well, but um yeah, or some of those are also um I think some of those might be like Aboriginal communities as well.
Sure. That makes sense.
But
Yeah, I've watched a few videos on just kind of the middle of Australia, and it's wild. It's wild. I
mhm.
didn't realize how many camels you had.
Yes, camels are something that got imported because horses they die when it gets really hot.
Right.
So I don't know when, but I believe it was definitely early settlers brought over camels because they live in the desert anyway, so they should probably be able to deal with Australia.
They can acclimate.
They're gonna do a better job than a horse is gonna do.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
But
Wow.
we have a lot of animals here that a lot of people may not even realize. Like we have a big deer population as well.
Deer?
Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
I didn't realize till like 5 or 10 years ago either. But like
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I did some like some volunteer work with like a what do you call it? Like a nature survey place, and
Hmm.
my job there was to look at the trail camera photos and identify what animals were in the photo. This is before we had like really easy machine learning
Yeah.
stuff that automatically does this. So my job for an entire week was to go through tens of thousands of pictures of trail cameras and spot what was in it and
That's
number down how many animals there were.
you were the machine algorithm.
I, I, it got really fun when you ran into a picture of birds and it was a flock of birds. You're like, how many
Oh.
birds are in the photo? I don't know, like 70 or so, I guess. But a lot of the photos just like next. Like it'll be like the wind blows and it sets off a trail camera, things like that.
Gotcha.
But through that, I found out we have a bunch of deer apparently. We also have a bunch of pigs, but a lot of places have a lot of pigs. But
I wouldn't know that.
Actually, do you know how many kangaroos we have? Because this is always a fun one that people are not sure about.
Like you're looking for a number?
Yeah, so like
a guesstimate. Okay.
Yeah, guesstimate number.
It's in the millions.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna go with 10 million kangaroos.
Okay, so the population of Australia, like human population, is Australian population is 27 million. That's of people. As of 2023, there is 42.7 million kangaroos.
Stop. Yeah, what? They outnumber 2 to 1.
Yeah, almost.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea. That's a wild stat.
There are some people that think like kangaroos are like endangered or anything like that. Like, no,
yeah, right.
No, kangaroos are actually
people
just
are
a pest.
endangered.
Like every supermarket you go to is gonna have kangaroo meat, like for like kangaroo steak, stuff like that. Also, every pet food aisle is gonna have like kangaroo biscuits, kangaroo meat. Like there is just a lot of kangaroos.
Wow, that's wild. I did not know that.
Now, koalas actually are endangered. Like that one is much less. There is only a few 100,000 of those because they like pandas only eat like a certain kind of food. Like they eat eucalyptus, and as you have like forest cut down, all that sort of stuff, like that becomes a lot more of a problem. But no, kangaroos. if I drive up to my parents' place, which is only like an hour and a half away, I will see at least 10 dead kangaroos on the side of the road.
Wow.
Minimum.
Wow. Sheesh. I didn't realize how big of a... I knew like if you start driving outside the cities, that like a lot of people, even you have those like like those bumper guards almost. I don't know how to explain it, like grills or whatever they're called, and they're meant for, I mean, because you got kangaroos hopping out in front of you all the time. So
it is really dangerous to drive like around like sunset. Like if you're going through like a rural area, you really don't want to be driving around that point, because that's the time where they are going to be moving around and they're likely going to be jumping across the roads. Like, you know how you'll see like I don't know, like a duck crossing sign or a deer crossing sign. We just have kangaroo crossing signs as well.
Kangaroo. Oh, it's so funny. Yeah. Yeah,
you actually do have to be careful about those if you drive around here. I
don't doubt it. Yeah, plus you're driving on the opposite side of the road more than likely. And you got kangaroos attacking you. I mean, you can get into the desert, no problem at all. You got kangaroos everywhere. You're on the opposite side of the road. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's more animals that are ready to kill you at any point. I mean, what's the draw here?
You know, I don't really know. I honestly couldn't tell you.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, your beaches are beautiful though. That's one thing. It's absolutely splendid.
Absolutely. Well, there's I used to live in Queensland. There was a beach that was really close to where I was called Rainbow Beach. I'll see if I can find.
Yeah.
Where's a good picture of it? Okay, I'm not finding good pictures of it, but a part of this beach has black sand and looks really, really cool. But like, yeah, Australia has... we don't really have like rocky beaches, unlike, the UK seems to have a lot of. Pretty much all of our beaches are like are like if we do have rocks, they're like, big rocks that it's not a
Yeah,
beach
yeah,
at
yeah,
that
yeah.
point. It's
They're
like,
stones.
yeah. Like people go there to fish, but
Yeah.
as I maybe we have a rocky beach somewhere, but I certainly don't. There's too many nice beaches here that nobody cares.
No, I could see that. I mean, everything's the beautiful, like white, fine sand. It's at least all the places I went to. I mean, it's beautiful.
Mhm.
And the only place you can see that pretty much in like the States is like the Gulf Coast. So like Florida,
Yeah.
and the Panhandle and kind of that side. If you go to the opposite side, it gets a little more coarse and darker sand.
Mhm.
And then anywhere else in the States, it's just going to be like rocks and stones
Right.
and whatnot. So definitely got that on us.
Whenever you drive, like, if you're going for like a big drive in Australia, like the most important thing, and there's a lot of people that just don't even consider it. I don't know why. They're just not very smart. The most important thing is always just have water with you. Like that's such like a basic requirement, because I grew up rural as well. People who grew up in the city may not have this like mindset, but I grew up where the nearest town was a 30-minute drive away. So like you get that mentality in your head of like, make sure you always have some water with you, because there's a possibility that car breaks down. You're going to be stuck out there for a while. And if you're somewhere, if you live in a town of like a couple thousand people, right? Like it's very unlikely that someone's going to drive by anytime soon, especially if it's down one of like the side roads.
Yeah. And I feel like it's a little uncanny, and I don't think people realize how big Australia actually is. Like to go from, I don't know, like Brisbane to Melbourne. Isn't that like a 4-hour flight or something wild?
That is a 2.5-hour flight.
Okay, 2.5 hour.
But let me actually check the
But
distance.
the drive is like something crazy.
Yeah, it's an 18-hour drive. It's 1,776 kilometers.
What in the world? There's nowhere. I mean, that's wild.
Like I know people in the US will talk about like, they'll like drive to the state over or something just for the weekend. Like that's not a thing you do here unless you live along the border.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. That's why I think people take it a little bit for granted, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's a little island, blah blah blah." You can get from place to place in no time at all, but you get there and you're like, you're pretty much stuck wherever you're at. I mean, unless you want to drive for 18 hours.